this is new day of Far East adventures, and at the moment I'm on the territory of the city of Vladivostok. To be precise, I'm currently on Ruski Island. I'm staying in front of the fort number 11, or Vladivostok Fortress. This fortress was constructed between 1910 and 1917 for protection purposes, but as far as I know, it has never been used and it still remains unfinished. Anyway, we are now going to explore the bunker located in this fortress. Inside the bunker here is almost nothing, so just walls. Could be the toilet or something. Well, this is the bottom part of the bunker, sort of the deck.
Fort number 11 is a part of the Vladivostok Fortress, a system of fortifications in Vladivostok and the surrounding area, which includes 119 objects. The fort was designed to protect against artillery attack from large caliber naval guns at long ranges and from medium caliber field guns at close ranges. In 1917, the fort was laid up. In 1923, the Vladivostok Fortress was abolished and the fort was plundered. During the Second World War, the fort was used again. Until the beginning of the 90s, it was maintained by the military and was later recognized as a cultural heritage site. Nowadays, the fort is gradually dilapidating, suffering from vandals. Another artifact of the Vladivostok Fortress nearby is the coastal anti-airborne semi-caponnier No. 7 in Karpinsky Bay, designed for 4 guns. Meanwhile, I was heading towards Tabizin Cape, one of the most The next day I returned to Ruski Island in order to walk from there to another island. You heard right, walk from island to island.
What's going on, guys? This is new day. I'm currently in Vladivostok, and to be precise, on Ruski Island. Basically, this is a group of islands on the territory of Vladivostok, and now I'm going to visit one of that islands, the island Shkota. Basically, it is connected with Ruski Island with a tiny line of ground, which is most likely flooded. It's gonna take about 9 kilometers to get there. Not the easiest way, not the most difficult, so let's just try to walk and reach this goddamn island. The climate here is also different. When I'm in my city, it's kind of normal that the difference between night and day temperatures can reach 10, 12, sometimes 15 degrees. So we have some sort of the continental climate, but here there is not much difference. So for example, during daytime it can be plus 24 Celsius, at night it can be plus 20 or 21. That's kind of good, that's comfortable for me at least. Another issue is high level of humidity here, but you can get accustomed to it. So in the very beginning, then I just entered Sakhalin, I was just dying on the sun with 100% of humidity. I accidentally come across some sort of the abandoned settlement. I'm not sure what's the purpose of this certain building. It's located in the middle of nowhere, halfway from the junction to Shkota Island. I have just checked the maps and it appeared that we are on the territory of X military base, and that building in front of us is probably old checkpoint. There are some garages of military technique, military transport. That was probably the building for placing the soldiers, some sort of the dormitory. Not that much interesting stuff inside this military building, some kind of trash, old cupboards, furniture. Another big room of this building also appeared to be pretty empty. In this room, I don't know what was in this room, but I can clearly hear the helicopter flying somewhere around me, probably close to active military base. What I want to mention in this Soviet building is that kind of Soviet socialistic writings and sayings. For example, this one: soldier deserve a high rank of a defender of socialistic country and follow the great oath by doing stuff. I have finally got to this tourist base right in front of the Shkot Island.
Shkot Island is located opposite Ruski. Both of them are part of the Impress Eugenie Archipelago. In Soviet times, a military base was located on Shkot Island, which could be reached through an artificially created isthmus. So Soviets basically converted the islet into peninsula. After the closure of the military base, the isthmus was no longer maintained, and over time it was washed away by water. Shkot Island again became completely surrounded by water, but with proper skill you can still get there afoot.
Jesus wept! Holy shit! Not that easy, to be honest. The distance that I need to cross here is approximately 150 meters! No! I just need to cross this freaking trail and then return. I'm awkwardly maneuvering between weird brown things in the bottom. That was extremely uncomfortable. Oh my god, that's craziness. Look at that, this is just the ocean. So talking about the level of water, its maximum was here, but that was the wave. An average level was approximately up to here, to my knees. So now the task for now is to cross this island to its opposite side, and then it's gonna be a mission to return. We're currently walking across some sort of abandoned settlement, and most likely it used to be a military base. Look at this freaking spider. Holy crap! He has woken up, he listened to me, he listens to me. He bewarns me not to break his web. Absolutely stunning rocks of the island. That would probably be amusing to sail to them on a boat. Absolutely mind-blowing views of Shkot Island. And you know what, guys? There are people on the beach. There is a cable descent to the beach. You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm talking about. This is cable descent to the beach. Well, in fact, the descent is not as steep as I expected, and so technically it's climbable without this cable, but with it I feel myself more safe. But I have zero understanding that this cable was actually put here. How old is him? And technically it's not a big issue to climb down without this cable, but it's kinda more safe following it. Добрый день. А это единственный спуск сюда? Да нет, мало ли тут обход какой-то есть, но я смотрю, уже, видимо, нету. I have just climbed down to the beach. There is such massive red rocks and waving sea. So this is not a good idea to swim at the moment. But the view is incredible. There are actually hundreds of tones above my head, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. So I'm not sure whether it was like a cave or just a random, you know, corridor that was damaged because of the stone fall. Now it's high time to climb up. Well, perhaps due to the stone fall, this rope was cut, or this cable was cut, and therefore here is the change to the rope. Okay, let's carry on. Climbing up seems to be easier on the one hand, but it requires way more power. I'm so exhausted. Oh my gosh. Incredibly steep slope. We're walking back to the big land. Hopefully without accidents, without shit. The waves are more or less the same as when I walked here from that side. So technically it shouldn't be any big problems. I will definitely be wet again, but I'm kinda ready for that.
On the way back, I met two women who also decided to visit the island. I hope they didn't get washed away by the wave and were able to return safe and sound. I hitchhiked to Vladivostok, and the driver wanted to show me the canal that connects the eastern Bosporus Strait and Novik Bay on Ruski Island. The canal began functioning in 1899. During the Russo-Japanese War, submarines were based in Novik Bay, and the canal allowed them and ships to enter the strait faster. To get from Ruski Island to Vladivostok, I had to drive over the eastern Bosporus Strait by a cable-stayed bridge, whose total length was 3 kilometers and 100 meters. The next day I took a train to Vladivostok Airport, from where I flew to Novosibirsk. That flight was the final stage of my Far East season 2021. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. You can also support my work via Patreon or via other ways mentioned in the description of this video. See ya!